Oh, hi. Oh,
Yeah.
hi. My name is Snag. I do a bunch of streaming stuff. I used to go by Aloha Snack Bar. I used to go by Aloha Snack. And I cut it down to Snack. I do a bunch of video games. I do VA stuff. I do singing. I do a lot of things. I like to make content.
Now, you make content for a long time. Your name was not always Snack. It used to be something else. Why'd you end up changing it?
The first time I had that name, it was just a dumb name that I got from a buddy. He had come up with a nickname like Aloha Snack Bar. And so we would play games and blah, 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 blah. And then later down the line, I changed it down to Aloha Snack because it just felt better. Along with that, I got an indefinite suspension for my name.
Aloha Snack?
Yeah, apparently it is a joke to certain things, and I did not know that.
Oh my.
So then I was like, oh, that would be why I got in trouble. Okay, let's change that name. So then I shortened it to Aloha Snack. After a year of that, I was just like, you know what? I'll just shorten it to Snack, and then it's just 20 times easier.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier. But wow, what a journey. I'm so sorry to hear you got that suspension. So you said you got it from your friend, right? Does that mean your name before that was something else? Or was that just your first name?
No, it was just the first name I ever made for Twitch. As a matter of fact, when I was younger, I thought Twitch was the stupidest thing on the planet.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't understand why people would watch somebody live stream. I was like, why don't you just buy the game and play it yourself? I don't get it.
That's
it does not make
interesting.
sense. The reason I got into Twitch was because of TikTok. A friend of mine had introduced me to TikTok, and I was like, I guess I'll download it. I don't really see the appeal of it. Now I'm addicted. And you know how you start going through, you start liking stuff, and it starts making an algorithm.
Yeah.
So I was liking video games and anime and stuff. So then a VTuber popped up. Then I started watching the content that they were putting on there, and I was like, this is really cool. I like this. And then oh, I stream on Twitch. I was like, well, it's late at night, but I guess I can go drop them a follow real quick, and then maybe I'll watch it sometime. Yeah. You
are the rare TikTok converted. Oh, but you've known about VTubers before that?
No, not at all. It was literally random shot in the dark.
Funny. So you found out what VTubers were, and you're like, I want that.
The reason why it happened was because in one Discord, I was streaming, but I was still using my live cam, and there's still clips from my channel of my actual face and stuff, and I just don't care.
Oh my God, I see.
And on the last night, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just not stream. Nobody's watching. Nobody's coming here. It doesn't make sense. I just won't do it anymore. And some people saw in a Discord that it said I was streaming. I didn't even know it did that.
Oh yeah.
And so all of a sudden they were like, oh, hey, you're streaming. I'm like, oh, hey, how did you find out about this? And then from there, I started making friends through it. The thing that started really getting me a lot of people at first was VA stuff.
Oh.
So I had the voice redeem. I'll say, Ada Ada. I'll say, oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good girl? Because of that, people started liking my voice, but then people said that I was a very cozy streamer. I don't get that because I play horror games and I yell, and play action games and I yell. What do you mean? And apparently when I'm very sleepy, I'm just playing games and stuff, and I just talk while I'm explaining things. It's very comfy for people. I
really think though, it takes a certain amount of time with yourself to get to that point. I'm kind of curious, do you have any advice for people who maybe want to grow to like their voice more?
Just like with any skill or talent or anything like that, you do have to work on it if you want it to improve in certain ways. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be better at singing, you have to practice singing. Now, that doesn't mean you do 2 weeks and all of a sudden you're a god singer.
Yeah.
It can take years upon years. And it's you having to learn how to understand vocal ranges, your tones, what can your voice do, and things like that. For me, I have a pretty wide range, but I also know I cannot go very deep, and my voice is more towards a tenor alto range. But even with that, I've learned to manipulate my voice to be able to do things where I can go into a higher register, a lower register, and things like that. If I want to switch my voice and go, hi Vespy, how are you doing today? Oh, you're looking so wonderful today. That's a different voice.
Oh, yeah.
Or I can just go down low and go, hello, how are you doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic morning. I learned how to play with my voice. I just mess with it all the time.
So that kind of vocal practice is you finding characters essentially to snap to. And a lot of people don't actually have that kind of concept understood. So it's so neat to see you practice that actively. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm kind of curious. I actually wanted to touch on this topic.
Yes.
You are technically our first guest who does actively partake in content that is strictly not for kids.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I do that.
Yeah. So
I do that.
Yes, you do. I'm not a prude, but I'm also not someone who does content like that. And my impression of it, I would say, is very ignorant. So I know that there are a lot of pros and cons to people who want to start with that kind of content. And I was kind of curious if you had any like stories of trying to figure that out for yourself.
I would say I was very much, I'm not going to go down that route. Like, I don't want to do anything that's too much. Like, I like having confidence in myself and I like doing certain things, but like it has a limit, right?
Right,
like,
yeah.
Like everybody has a limit and that's totally fair. For me, it's like, it's me dipping my toe in the water, understanding like, is this a route I can really go down and have fun with it? Or is this like, oh, you know what, this isn't for me and stuff like that. And a lot of my friends too, like I have 3 or 4 friends who do special kinds of live streams. And for them, they have fun with it. To them, it's literally another day. It's just another day.
Yeah.
Because you are just open and understand that kind of world within a certain, like you still have barriers set up. Like for me personally, like I've had it where because of the way I talk, I can be very flirtatious. I'm a very flirty boy. Some people get the wrong idea and want to cross a line. And I go, sorry. That's not for you. As compared to like, if this was a personal conversation that is 1v1, like in DMs or on a call, and I'm having a personal conversation with you, it might be a little bit more. If I really am interested in you, I give you the signs and I tell you, like, honestly.
You sound like you always make an effort to like end things at least amicably, or at least like there's no ill intentions from you. That's so fucking good to express communicative wise. I'm kind of curious, would you describe people who decide that streams are for some reason the place to actually pursue relationships? Are those people you think are new to this space? Because it almost sounds like people who are experienced with that content just kind of understand, like, you know, those rules are there.
I don't think that it's that they're new to the space. We live in an age where a lot of people, especially after the pandemic, are very shut in, very introverted, very much don't want to go outside. So I think a lot of times what I see primarily in the VTubing sphere is some people honestly think they are entitled to that kind of thing. So
like relationships
or anything. There's a lot of things I've seen that are not the greatest. And a lot of times what I always tell people is like, when you have moments where you honestly don't know what to do, or you are concerned or something like that, you need to take in advice from friends, but also like think about IRL. If this happens, how would you respond? Like if you were outside at a bar. So like if I go to a bar and some chick came up to me and said, oh my God, I love your voice, and said the things like people say in Twitch chats.
Oh my God.
You are out of your mind. That is crazy that you said that. You need to leave. Like you are not allowed around here anymore.
You sound very comfortable being seen as the villain in someone else's eyes. So how do you navigate those kinds of perspectives?
I've had that experience where I didn't take in a friend's account who told me like the other person was being a terrible person and blah, blah, blah. And I believed them right off the bat, just no hesitation, and told them like, you're a bad person, this, that. And then came out later, it was all lies. It was all bad. I lost a good friend because of that, because I believed one friend over the other and instantly chose a side. So I've dealt with that situation of being the villain and being like, oh, I think I'm better because I didn't do this, and that's just not okay. So you have to understand that like, if me and you were to get into a huge argument, I understand the fact that even if I think I'm in the right, it still doesn't change how you viewed things, right? So if your view was, yeah, you may be right, but you came off very mean, that's why we have an issue. Well, I need to then take that into account and go, oh, you know what? You're right. I was very rude to you when I was trying to prove a point, and that wasn't fair to you. So I want to apologize. So I'm the kind of person that understands like, even when you don't mean to, you can become the villain. And because of that, like, even if from my perspective, I didn't do anything wrong, from somebody else's perspective, you could be bad.
I get what you mean. In the right narrative, anything could seem like reality is hell. I get what you mean though.
It's like there's a quote that is history is written by the winners.
Yes.
Right. So all the heroes in history are because they won. If the other people won, then they would be the heroes.
Exactly. So anything that's being told to you in reality could always be misconstrued in some way or form. So I think this always begs the question then, like, where do you find your confidence? Because everything you are told in one way or form is something that you're taught, right?
So I have two how I would describe it, very strong parents in their own way. Even though they didn't work out, my parents, especially my mom, are very strong-willed people. She built up my confidence when it came to things like music and being who I am as a person. She accepted me. So even though I was her nerdy little son who liked to dance to Michael Jackson and just play video games all day and watch anime, she still loved me. And my dad was also the same way, but my dad was the one who taught me this is how you grow as a person.
Let's go.
So when certain things would happen and I would talk to my father about it, he would like explain, here's the options you could have taken. Like, this is the one you chose. Like
he breaks down the logic.
Yeah, he breaks it down. Me and my brothers are very confident people. For me, I'm very quick to talk to people, and I'm not scared to meet new people because I just go, whatever. You're a person just like me.
You mentioned something quite lovely in that you're very open to just meeting people where they're at as they are, because we're all people, right? I think this might be what Gami was referring to when he says that you're very charismatic. What do you think about that?
Yeah, he has a different nickname for me, but yeah, I'm very charismatic.
Okay. Wait, what's the nickname?
The nickname that he gave me is I am a social whore.
A social whore. Okay, he was very nicer in the interview.
Yeah, he was much nicer during that interview, and I appreciate that because I love that man to death. He goes, I appreciate you because you introduced me to people who I probably would have never talked to. But also at the same time, give me a week to recover. I'm like, no, we're meeting new people. I have another collab set up. Let's go.
And he just rolls with it?
Sometimes he does go like, no, I'm putting my foot down. I'm not meeting new people. I'm like, hey, that's valid. I'll let you sleep. And then it's funny though, because then he comes the mod and somebody might cancel. And then he's like, you need another for party animals? I was like, yes.
Oh my God, what a homie.
Yeah.
I love seeing you two like talk to each other, honestly. It really feels like I'm just listening to two brothers, just hanging out. I feel like when I was watching your streams, it has that vibe where people can just go in and out, and it really feels like, I don't know, late night gaming with the friends. So I really respect that. That's a hard vibe to replicate on stream, especially when you're trying to keep up with chat and also game and also like converse. Like personally, I get a little overwhelmed with that shit now, but it feels so comforting to at least see you address everyone so very warmly, like you take time to get to know people.
For me, I have a lot of people who like to lurk. They don't like to talk and chat, and that's totally fine. But when I do have moments where like I don't have Gami or somebody else to bounce off of, so I'm just sitting there by myself, I don't know, I start talking to myself like I do whenever I play video games. Like I will straight up start talking to myself, especially like in Resident Evil. People will come inside and they're like, you good? You going insane? I'm like, I might be.
I've been actually coming across a lot of streamers lately who kind of feel like they are crazy. Are you one of them? Do you think you're crazy?
I don't think I'm crazy, no. I think I like to be silly and say stupid things on purpose. I like to because it's funny. I like saying dumb things. But I'm also the same person who I think I am very intelligent. I am very smart. I know my worth. It's funner to like, when I'm streaming, to eject all brain cells and be like, pretty gun. I like gun. It's fun.
It's nice not to put that much thought into things, or like, I don't know. Okay, I gotta go now so that my editor doesn't kill me for going over 2 hours. Not that you would kill me, but I would say that I can't afford more than that. Haha, tee, thank you, Stan, for everything. Goodbye forever. Goodbye forever. Goodbye forever.
Goodbye.